Well, hello everybody. Ginger had actually asked me to record a recap for our previous trip, which was actually today is New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve evening at like 11:15. I have some things that I do at the stroke of midnight, so I am up to midnight almost every New Year's Eve. And so that's why I'm awake. So if you hear some booming or things, it's people setting off fireworks. I hear it every once in a while. Just some housekeeping. But the trip, we left Wednesday morning, this past Wednesday at 3 o'clock. And we arrived back Thursday afternoon at about 3:30. So those of you keeping score, that's about 36 and a half hours. It would have been a little quicker, but coming home, we ran into some traffic on I-95. It's funny because really the only point of congestion in the entire trip, for all these trips we've done, is that stretch of 95 from Baltimore into New Jersey, which is like the shortest span of the trip. It's also the closest to where we live, so it's a little funny, but overall, it was a good trip. We took some more personal items this time, some records that we have, some photos, that kind of stuff. We also took, actually our big freezer we took this time, and we just kind of pieced in around it. There was some other stuff that I had that I just took some spices and things like that. And I just wanted to make a couple notes. As far as like hang-ups on the trip, other than the traffic, I just want to point this out to you. And I don't know if I mentioned this in another video, so if I have, forgive me. I have a single axle trailer. And single axle trailers obviously cannot hold as much as dual axle trailers. And where I work, not my church job, but my other job, there is a guy who comes in, usually comes in like once a week, once every 2 weeks or something like that. I don't exactly time it. And he has a single axle trailer, just like mine, except I think his might be 12 foot, mine's 14. And we put 2 pallets of stuff in this trailer. And the total weight is somewhere around like 3,000 or 4,000 pounds, which I was told single axle trailers, not a good idea. That's too much weight. And I talked to this guy because here I am, I had this single axle trailer, and he's like, oh, I do it all the time. You could put like 4,000 pounds in here. I think that's a stretch, but the last load, not this previous load, but the load before this one was really our heaviest. A lot of heavy stuff in there, just bins of books and things like that. Some more personal items, but just some other things that we had that was heavy. And definitely the heaviest load in the single axle. And the trailer tires were low. I mean, it was low. And so I was a little concerned. Didn't think much about it. And this load was heavy, but not that heavy. And I got back, pulled the trailer into the driveway when I got home, and I noticed this black stuff on the side of the trailer. It looks like almost like black dust. And I thought, that looks weird. So I inspected it a little further, and the trailer tires, which were brand new, this has only been their second trip, and I don't really drive this trailer anywhere else. Like, it sits in our yard while we load it and things like that. It's not a trailer I drive for any other purpose really other than this. And the trailer tires are wearing on the inside. The line of tread closest to the trailer is worn on both tires. And I looked at that and I thought, Now, the tires are not, bad. The tires are okay. But I can tell it's obvious that they are wearing heavier than the outer tread lines. So my initial thought, which turned out to be right, is that would mean that the trailer is too heavy. In other words, it's having too much weight put in it. So how this works is your trailer sits like this, but when it's weighed down, it's taking your tires rather than being like this, and it's basically making them so that your inner tread, right, is going like this because there's so much weight. It's weighing down the tires. And of course, all the weight is in the center. So the tread line closest to the center is going to be taking the brunt of this. And again, I didn't notice it last time. Maybe I just wasn't observant. But there's definitely some wear. So I do need to be mindful of that. I am going to just, jack it up because it's empty right now. So I'm going to jack it up and just make sure that the bearings are okay. But again, it's both sides. So probably the bearings are fine. It's probably just too much weight. Luckily, there's not really anything else super heavy that has to go down. I'll let Ginger address some of how we're doing things. But our next trip is the last trip. That's it. And of course, some animals have to go with us. So animals are not that heavy. So it will be good. I feel like the heaviest loads are behind us. The biggest piece of furniture that we really have to take is our love seat couch. So it's just a 2-seater couch. Not super heavy. I'm hoping that just, everything's okay. After I check it out, I grease the axle a little bit. Hopefully we're good to go. So that was really the only big problem this trip. I mean, it was pretty smooth sailing. Really, the weather was good, which is something, the last trip before this one had a lot of rain. This trip didn't really hit any rain, didn't hit any snow, didn't hit any ice, thank God. So it was smooth. So some good things about this trip is it's the last one before the last one. So that's a good thing. The other good thing about this trip was that, again, the weather just was great. And also, I would just say, going back to the first thing I said just a moment ago about it being the last trip before the last trip, it's good for the mental health, right? We've been working on this for over a year, and to know that we are so close is so cool. We do have a move date, tentative move date. And so, the tentative move date, I'm not going to discuss right now, but it is very close. We've all been feeling under the weather. I actually had pneumonia last week. Was put on a round of antibiotics, and today is really the first day that I really felt pretty good. I will share here a little bit. When Ginger and I got together in 2018, it was a week or 10 days before our wedding, and I had not been feeling well, had been feeling very bad. Just thought it was a cold, right? It's just the upper respiratory infection, whatever, bronchitis. And that was on a Sunday. And I said, okay, I'm going to make an appointment with the doctor. And I went to the doctor that next day. I had 103.6 fever. Very scary. Now, the doctor was supposed to call me an antibiotic. He didn't. He forgot. Something happened with his office staff. And the worst thing about it was I should have just gone right to the hospital. He should have just said, hey, look, you need to go to the hospital. And he didn't. And came home, got a shower, felt horrible. Again, 103.6 fever. And Ginger was my fiance at the time because, again, it was a week and a half before our wedding. And I said, I'm just going to lay here. I'm just going to go to bed, and I'm just going to lay. I did. And she came in just to check on me, thank God. And she woke me up, and she said, you're very hot. I want to check your temperature. She did. Thank God she did, because it was 105. At that point, she says, okay, you got to go to the hospital. So I did go to the hospital, and in that whole afternoon we had been trying to get antibiotics. I didn't get them. There was a mishap with the doctor's office. So I go to the hospital, and they discover that I have pneumonia. Now, all pneumonias are not created equal. Unfortunately, at that point, I had bacterial pneumonia, which is the worst one. It takes a long time to recover. It took me about a month and a half or 2 months to recover fully from it. You have shortness of breath, chest pain, high fever, and it is deadly. Because truthfully, if she would not have taken me to the hospital and I, would have just stayed here and slept there that night, there's a good chance I wouldn't have woke up the next morning. So, it was very serious. I was put on IV drugs, IV medicine. And so after 2 days of a lot of sleeping, I don't remember much about those 2 days, but 2 days, and it saved my life. So whenever I hear pneumonia, again, I know they're not all created equal. Whenever I hear pneumonia, I get nervous. I really was not feeling well. And so fast forwarding to now, I did not feel well last week. And I said, I need to go get a chest x-ray. And so sure enough, there was some viral pneumonia. I didn't really have a fever this time. I had my fever was 99. Not really that bad. I didn't even know that I had a fever until I went there to get the x-ray. And not how I want to spend New Year's. But that is what I'm going to say, because I'm really thankful that I got through this trip, because I was not feeling great, but got it done. So I'm very thankful for that. That's a blessing to us, because again, knowing that our move is imminent, I had to do that, and I did it. So praise God that I'm feeling better now and all is okay. But yeah. So this trip was a success. But just to say that we do have a tentative move date, as long as the kids are feeling good. Isaiah's still pretty stuffy. He's also on medication that he doesn't like to take, but he's on medication to hopefully help with his sinus stuff he's got going on. And if you've got sick kids, I feel for you, because they can't really take medicine like we can. It's 3. You can't give him a Mucinex. Can't give it to him. He's too young. So it's really hard, because he doesn't really sound great as far as his cough and things. He was to the pediatrician the other day, and they gave him more meds now. It's really challenging when you have kids. So I say tentative because while I'm feeling better, Ginger's feeling a little better. She's still not quite 100%. I'm not 100% for that matter. But really, it's Isaiah right now who's having a rough time. Aggie had it. She seems to be doing pretty good, though, comparatively. But Isaiah's having a rough time. So as long as, he's doing better and we're doing better still, then it will happen. One other thing that I want to just say here, but I do have how should I put this, an unofficial job offer that I'm very excited about, that we will be sharing at some point when it becomes official. It's not official yet, so I'm not going to say anything. And they are being very patient with me, very understanding, giving me the time while keeping the position open for me as of now. And there's a story behind that, but just knowing that I have something waiting for me down there is really reassuring. So, it was a successful trip. We got more coming. Ginger's been working on content. It's been a little slow because we have been sick, but kudos to her. And so Happy New Year, guys. Thanks for watching. We will see you again in the next one on More to Love Homestead. And by all means, support Ginger. I would say us. I know I'm sitting here recording this, but really this channel is her heart and soul. So, support her in this. And like and comment, subscribe, get involved. She loves to answer questions. So comment questions, send us a message. I guess you can do that on YouTube. I don't know. But get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. God bless you all. Thanks for watching.
Unloading, here we go. A lot of coal. Wow, it's a long train. Thought he might like that. Goes on forever.